table, and we'll take a look at the new thematic map. So let's go into workplace. I'll just pick a table here, total workers, let's say. Or total means of transportation would actually be better. I think this is in this one here somewhere. Or this one. Total means of transportation right here. All right, let's do that. All right, so you can see I have a series of counties selected right now. I can hit the map. This will open up the new HTML5 map. And by default, it's going to allow me to map those counties that I have selected now. You get presented with the dialog like you had before, so I can pick the measure that I want. In this case, let's say the total means of transportation. I can choose to do color range, but I could also pick other ways to view the data, but I'll just go with color ranges for now. I'm clicking on this, and here's my thematic map. I have standard mapping tools, zoom in, zoom out, go back to the original view. So let's say I want to zoom in. I'm zooming in on this map right now. You could see the vector information coming from the counties, which are selected right now as the geographic level. If you have more than one geographic level, they are available in the drop-down, so you can go and pick what you want. So you see we have a new interface and a new panel-based sort of like interface. I have some panels that I can turn on or off in the interface. I can just make them bigger or smaller. It's a convenient way to look at pretty much everything. This includes an area where we have the legend. We also have the chart, which is a standard tool in CartoVista. We have the layer control and the info panel, which is displayed whenever you click with the info tool on a feature. So all of those tools are available essentially. So the chart is interesting because then I can click on a specific chart item and it's going to navigate to the corresponding item on the list. The charts are in sync with the thematic analysis being displayed. Remember when I loaded the map, I chose to do a thematic analysis on the means of transportation by range in this case. So it created a nice histogram for me, which gives me a nice distribution pretty much of all the data. Now, on the thematic analysis side, there's a lot of flexibility. If you remember the previous version, there was a lot of dialogues. Now it's a lot simpler. If you want to change the colors of the map or change the representation, you just roll over it. You can see that we have a setting item that is displayed. I can click on that. This opens up the properties, and I can change them. Let's say I want to change the number of ranges to 8. You can see it changes the map right away. I can choose the method of calculation from quantiles to Jenks. Changes the map for me as well right away. Notice as well when I'm changing something, it's not only changing in the map in the legend, it's also changing the chart. So it's applying the colors everywhere in the interface. If you want to change a specific range or change the numbers, you can do that as you were previously available. So you can also specify text. Let's say you want to classify this as high values. You can do this. So this will be displayed in the legend. We still have the count, which shows you how many records are in that range. And again, you can customize this. Let's say we want to make this red to really make it stand out, then that particular range will stand out quite well. You can see that we have 2 really high records in that area, actually Houston and pretty much the north area here. So a lot of flexibility in the way you can thematically shade and control the styles of pretty much all the thematic analysis. So you go through the legend, you change everything. In terms of layers, the layer control is very simple. You can turn on or off layers. You can turn on or off the base map. Let's say you just want to have a blank map. You can do that. You can also reduce the visibility of each of them, the opacity of them. Very convenient way to maybe style or maybe put more emphasis on some of the data you want to show. So all of that is available. Another tool, interesting tool, and that's designed a little different in our HTML version is the info tool. I can click on an object, and the data for it is actually displayed in the panel, the info panel. You can choose, in this case, which data should be displayed, but right now I only have so many fields. Essentially the MOE and the basic, but let's say I want to add the label, I can add it, and then I have the label. Doesn't really make sense because it's the same as the name most of the time, but it's convenient that way. Let's say I want to copy the information about this particular county on the clipboard. There's the copy to clipboard function. You can just hit that, and the data is copied to the clipboard. Let's say you paste it in a document, then you would have the exact content of that info tool. Another tool that we had before that we still have is the ruler tool. Still behaves the same way. You want to calculate distances, you just click, and keep clicking, and it shows you the length of the area. Selection tools are very much working the same way as they were working with the selection map, exactly actually. So I can select from the map. You could see the selection is depicted on the map clearly. I can see that right now I have 13 counties displayed or selected. And I have also the chart. The chart responds to events. So whenever you're doing a selection, it's actually selecting in the chart as well. So that has been dramatically improved with our HTML version. We have a lot more flexibility for you to analyze maybe an area in more details. Let's say you want to look at Houston, how large is Houston in comparison to the others. Well, you can visually see that very efficiently with the new tools. Something else that is convenient, you can see the selection is actually shown in the data table. We also have what we call the statistics window that you can enable. It's actually going to give you, for the currently selected records, what's the total, the average, the account, the minimum, maximum, not only on the value you're looking at, but also on the margin of error. So let's say we want to see what's the highest margin of error that we have in the data set or in my current selection right now. You could see it. So the maximum is just about 7,000, which is huge. But I think I'm only going to get good reviews if I say that margin of error is important. I know Penelope really likes that. All right. So I'm just going to unselect all right now. You can either do that if you select somewhere outside the map, or if you use the tool over here. So fairly standard functionality. We used to have pretty much all those things in the Adobe Flash version, but I think we've enhanced it quite a bit. So something else that is new, you can see we have the data table, which is essentially sitting below the map. We have what we call the filters, and the filters are a really interesting way to start filtering out the records. Let's say I just want to show the records that have more than a certain value, let's say greater than 10,000. I can just filter the map, and you can see all the geographies that are falling outside of that criteria disappear from the map. They also disappear from the legend and from pretty much all the dashboard at the same time. You're not limited to a single item. I could also filter MOE, let's say greater than 3,000. So you can start combining, or lesser than a certain value. So you can start combining those filters to come up with a filter that makes sense, and you can filter out the data the way you want it. So I'm just going to turn off the filters. You can clear all of them by clicking on this. Now all the filters are off. So let's take a look at a lower geography. I have state, county, and tracks for Dallas. I can click on that. This is going to automatically select that geography. You can see now I have a series of census tracts selected. It keeps my theme as well that I have right now, which is showing me, place of work, measure estimate is essentially the theme I have right now. I can also go in and overlay additional things on the map. Right now I only have a single measure. It's not really interesting, but if I go back to the table and pick a table that has more measures, let's take a look. Let's pick something that has a little bit more depth, and I'll go back again with the means of transportation. And this way we can start building more than one representation on the map. So we'll take a look at the total means of transportation, but we'll also take a look at maybe one category, and maybe we can focus on number of people that biked. So let's say we look at total means. We could choose different ways to represent this. I'll just go with something different. I'll just go with range of patterns, which is a different way to look at things. As you can see now, we have a series of patterns. I can go in and configure those patterns as well to use something different, something else. I could use circles. I can also specify what the color is going to be. So a very interesting way. You could reverse the colors, reverse the pattern, a lot of option if you want to do some overlays. But let's say I'm just going to stick to something classic. I'll just use ranges and colors because it's easier. But you can also add another dimension. So let's say in my case, I want to take a look at the number of people that biked. I can do an overlay by different methods. I can go by graduated symbols. So I can add a graduated symbol representation on top of it. As you can see, we have now two variables together. And I can also control, the representation and the style for those circles. I can choose how they are appearing on the map, whether it's log scale or square root. You could even make them less visible with some opacity. You could also specify the maximum minimum value for each. So let's say at 5,000, I want to have a circle to be 75 pixels. You can change those values. Something else that we've really enhanced. Anyway, there's a lot of flexibility in the way you can create those analysis and design them. Something else that we've greatly enhanced is the printing. So whenever you click print the map, you enter in print mode. And in print mode, you can double click on the map and it's a full map that you can navigate to, and you can place it exactly where you want it to be. You can also insert several things in the layout. So I can type in and insert my legend. You can place the legend where you want it. You can move those items. You can change the map title to something you like. We have placed the CTPP logo, but if you don't like it, you can get rid of it. I suggest you don't do that. You can insert text inside the layout. Let's say I want to put today's date. I can do that, or whatever text. You can change the fonts, all those things. So there's a bunch of tools in here that are really designed to help you create the output that you want. When you're ready, you just say export to PDF, and it's going to generate the PDF output for you. Something else that has been enhanced is the ability to annotate the map or do redlining. So let's say I want to highlight something on the map. Let's say with the circle, I can draw a new circle. I can take that circle, select it, move it. So all those editing tools are available, and you can change even the style of the object. I can make the fill being solid or none. You can change the stroke width of the object being generated. So all of those tools are available. In terms of representation as well, if you happen to pick more than one variable, let's say drove alone or two-person carpool, you can see that we automatically suggest pie charts as a way to visualize it. So whenever I do my theme, now I have a pie chart representing both of those measures. And it's as simple as I can go in, change the colors that are associated with each of them. You could again change the method of graduation. You can make that log or whatever, based on your data that may make sense. And you have full control over all the styles. It's a lot easier. We spend a lot of time, try to work on the usability of the product, try to make the user experience better, and make it more user friendly. Zoom to function, whatever geography you have selected, you can type in whatever name is in the list, and it's going to navigate to that item. So very fast way to navigate from one place to another. So again, this is something we're pretty proud of the speed and the rendering. We've spent a lot of time making sure that the rendering is fast and you get fast response in the browser. We're really pleased with the results and what you can do there. I didn't talk about this, but the data table as well. Let's say I want to download the data. There's a download button, export button I can click on. Whenever I click on that, it's actually generating a nice Excel spreadsheet that will have all the data. And you can see now it has the stats and some metadata as well available. In this case, there's not much, but we can configure it to show some metadata if you have some. So you could also control what is displayed in the data table the same way I was doing it in the other part of the software. So that's pretty standard functionality, but convenient. You could also copy the data to the clipboard. So if I'm working with a spreadsheet or I just want to paste it somewhere else, it's convenient to be able to do those things. I think that pretty much covers most of the, I'm trying to see on my list what else is there. Something that's not there, which is extremely useful, is exporting the data in GIS format. So this is something that will still be there. It's not yet implemented, but you will be able to retrieve the shapefile or the map info table of the currently selected thematic map. So this will be enabled when we finalize the contract.